Have you ever had a friend challenge you in a way that felt uncomfortable, but later you realized that was exactly what you needed? Maybe they pushed you to apply for a job you didn't think you were ready for. Maybe they encouraged you to get back into the gym when your fitness goals fell off. Or maybe they simply held you accountable for something you said but didn't follow through on. I remember a time a close friend directly called me out. He called me out on something that I had been procrastinating on for months. I had a big goal in mind, as we do, and I kept talking about it over and over again. And every time we met, I had another excuse as to why I hadn't started yet. Finally, one day he looked me straight in the eye and said, "You keep saying you want this, but I don't see you doing anything about it. You good? Do you actually want it, or do you just like talking about it?" I can hear it ringing in my head. The question stung. And my first instinct is to get defensive. Hey, man, what you mean? And so I get defensive and I'm wanting to explain that I have been planning. This is my planning stage. I'm just waiting for the right time. Things haven't lined up perfectly yet. But deep down, I knew he was right. I wasn't afraid of the right timing. I was afraid of failing. And I was stuck in a cycle of overthinking instead of taking action. And it was that conversation that wounded me, but lit a fire under me. Because faithful are the wounds of a friend, but it's the kisses of the enemy that are deceitful. We all need friends like that. Friends who are not afraid to read our mail. Friends who don't just nod along and tell us what we want to hear, but they are willing to challenge us because they believe in our potential. Research from Harvard has shown that people with strong, growth-oriented relationships are more likely to achieve their goals than those who don't have them. And here's the truth that we need to be reminded of. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. For something to grow, every once in a while, it needs some dirt along with the sun. If you're only surrounded by people who make you feel good but never push you to be better, you're missing one of the most powerful tools for personal development. So let's be real. Not every friend in your life is pushing you to be better, and that's okay. Some friendships are built on shared history. They're built on laughter and lighthearted moments. We all need people to relax with, to reminisce with, and simply enjoy life alongside. But when it comes to you being the best version of you, you need more than just good company. You need friends who challenge you, stretch you, and inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Growth-minded friendships are different. They don't just make you feel comfortable, they make you better. They support your dreams, but they won't allow you to settle for something less than your potential. They celebrate your wins, but they also call you out when you're standing in your own way. Those are the friends that don't just watch your journey from the sidelines. They walk it with you, sometimes pulling you forward when you're stuck, and sometimes pushing you when you're hesitating. So how do we identify friends that truly help us grow? There are a few contributing factors here. The first one is they are honest with you. True friends don't just tell you what you want to hear, they tell you what you need to hear, even if it stings, even if it wounds you. Because true friends care more about you and your growth than they do the momentary comfort. Another trait is they encourage you to take risks. When fear or self-doubt creeps in, they are the ones that are reminding you of your potential. True friends do not allow you to shrink back. They push you to go for it anyway, knowing that growth lives on the other side of your discomfort. Another trait, they hold you accountable. It's easy to make promises to ourselves and let them slide, but true friends don't let you let yourself off the hook. If you say you're going to do something, they check in. Hey, how's that going? They remind you of your commitments and they call you out when you're starting to make excuses. Another trait is they challenge your thinking. Growth happens when we see things from different angles. It happens when we're forced to rethink our familiar, our old beliefs, and expand our perspectives. A growth-minded friend asks you tough questions, they challenge your assumptions, and encourage deeper self-reflection. They won't let you stay stuck in a narrow mindset. But here's the real question. Are you that kind of friend to others? Because friendship is a two-way street. It isn't just about what we receive, it's about what we give. And you will receive the type of friendship that you give out. It's the law of the farm, baby. sowing and reaping. If you want strong, growth-driven relationships, it has to start with you being that person for others. You have to be the person that uplifts. You have to be the person that pushes them forward. You have to be the person that holds others to their highest potential. The friendships you cultivate will either keep you stagnant or propel you towards something greater. Choose wisely. Take a moment and reflect on your friendships. Who in your life embodies the traits I just covered? And conversely, who might need you to step up and be that friend to them? Have you ever considered why challenging friendships make us stronger? It's tempting to surround ourselves with people who always agree with us. After all, comfort is nice. It feels good to be validated. Hey, you're making the right decisions. To be supported. Hey, I got your back. And to be left unchallenged. Hey, whatever you think sounds good to me. But remember, growth never happens in ease and comfort. Think about the strongest, most successful people you know. Did they get there by coasting through their life? Did they get there by staying in environments where no one questioned them or pushed them? Of course not. They became strong because they were challenged. They had people in their corner that saw their potential and refuse to let them settle. The same applies to you. When you have friends who challenge you, you stay motivated and accountable. It's easy to let yourself off the hook when nobody's watching. But when you have people in your life who check in on your progress, they hold you to a higher standard. You also build resilience. Growth isn't just about reaching new heights. It's about enduring the struggle that comes with it. And true friends do not allow you to walk away from things when it gets hard. Instead, they remind you of why you started and encourage you to push through when you feel like giving up. You also gain a deeper self-awareness. We all have blind spots, habits, mindsets, behaviors that we do without even really realizing it. The right friend acts as a mirror, reflecting the very things that you need to work on. They help you identify the patterns that might be limiting your potential and encourage you to address them. You also reach higher levels of success, whether in business, fitness, relationships, or mindsets. The people around you shape your trajectory. Surrounding yourself with high achievers and growth-minded individuals naturally elevates you. As the saying goes, iron sharpens iron, which means their discipline, their ambition, their hunger begins to rub off on you, making you level up in ways you never would have alone. Look at history. Every great leader, entrepreneur, even athletes had people that pushed them beyond what they believed were their limits. Kobe Bryant had Phil Jackson, who constantly challenged him to refine his game, to sharpen his skill set, and never settle. Steve Jobs had a network of brilliant minds who didn't just agree with him, but challenged his ideas, forcing him to refine and perfect them. Even in everyday life, the people who achieve breakthroughs, whether in career, relationships, or personal growth, often have someone behind the scenes pushing them, supporting them, holding them accountable. So ask yourself, who's doing this for me? And again, am I the person who's doing this for others? So how do we begin to build these friendships? If you don't have these relationships that I've described in this video thus far, don't worry. You can start cultivating these relationships today. Growth in any area isn't happenstance. It's a result of intention. So let's talk about how to be intentional in this area. Number one, be open to feedback. When someone challenges you, your natural instinct might be to get defensive. But instead of reacting, pause and ask yourself, is there truth in this? Growth starts with self-awareness, and sometimes that means accepting uncomfortable truths about yourself. It takes courage to be honest with someone. And those friends who are willing to be honest with you, they should be cherished because they are the ones that are helping you grow. Next, seek out people who are ahead of you. You cannot always be the smartest, most accomplished, most driven person in the room. It's not gonna serve you. And it's not gonna serve you because growth happens when you're around people that stretch you. Look for mentors, colleagues, and friends who inspire you. Inspiration is important in your friendships. And they need to inspire you not just by the words they speak, but by the way they live their lives. Step 3, Be that kind of friend yourself. Remember the law of the farm. Every seed produces after its kind. So hold the people around you accountable, encourage their progress, and challenge them when necessary to aim higher. When you bring value to others, you naturally attract people who will do the same for you. Next, engage in growth-oriented communities like Mission Growth. The best way to find like-minded, growth-oriented people is to go where they are. Join places where progress, accountability, and pushing limits are part of their culture. This can be online or in person. These communities help you build relationships that challenge and elevate you. Next, have honest conversations. If you want to be surrounded by people that challenge you, let your current friends know. Not everyone is going to be comfortable giving you feedback, but especially starting off, you have to give your community, you have to give your friends permission to be honest with you. And I know that sounds funny, but most people will not be directly honest with you without granted permission to do so. It could be as simple as you telling them, I really value your perspective and I'm wanting to grow. So if y'all see me making excuses, if you see me slacking, please call me out. That simple change can shift the dynamic of your friendships. The people you talk to daily, the conversations you engage in, and the standards you hold yourself to are influenced by those around you. Choose wisely. And if you don't have friendships that push you forward, start building them today. At the end of the day, your success, your mindset, and your personal growth are directly linked to the people that you choose to surround yourself with. If your circle consists of people who keep you in your comfort zone, you'll never get out. But if you intentionally place yourself among those who challenge you, inspire you, who push you to be better, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Take a moment today to reflect on your current relationships. And here's my challenge for you. Reach out to someone in your life who challenges you and thank them. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.